The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
With so many people living longer, the fear of outliving your money becomes a reality for many of us. Will I be a financial burden? Will I outlive my money? How will I be remembered? My name is Neil Himmelstein, president of Main Street Planning Group. Please contact me by visiting mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. I will introduce you to strategies that will guarantee you will not outlive your money, that can guarantee you will not be a burden on your loved ones. Through a collaborative approach, we will uncover solutions that offer tax-efficient strategies, lifetime income, and legacy planning, choice, organization, direction, and education. That is the code we stand behind. Contact mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. And listen to me every Friday at 3 p.m. as I host the Main Street Code for Financial Success, right here on 103.9 LI News Radio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I'm here every Friday at 3 o'clock. If you miss an episode, you can always catch me on Spotify or Apple, or go to the mainstreetcode.com. You can always reach me at 631-647-4694. And when we talk about our code, we talk about choice, organization, direction, and education. And we help hundreds of clients here and across the country, as well as attorneys, accountants, mortgage professionals. We try and bring everybody together to help you achieve your financial goals and live a happy life. So that's what we do. And today, very, very pleased to have with us a special guest, Doug Miller. First, I want to thank you for your service. Doug is a very dedicated community person who's very involved was a volunteer fireman and now a fire commissioner. Doug, say hello.
Hello, Neil. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Doug, a lot of people don't understand that firefighters on Long Island, for the most part, are volunteer.
Yes.
How many years did you do that?
I'm still doing it. It's 34 years for me now.
As a volunteer fireman?
As a volunteer, yes. You still, even as commissioner, you're an elected position, but you're still a volunteer for the most part in your fire district and fire department. And
the commissioner, even though it's elected, is volunteer as well?
Yes.
That's awesome. So people don't realize that. When I was growing up, what do you want to be? You want to be a policeman. You want to be a fireman. You want to be, and I don't think that's the service aspect of it is really understood by people, that it is volunteer. I thank you, because it takes dedication, and you have to have another job, which you have, as you're a volunteer. So
yes. What
is your other job?
I work for a local government, technology.
For ISLIP, okay. All right, for the town ISLIP. Excellent. So, and most of the all the fire people work for another job, and they do this on the side. And as part of that whole thing, how did the fire departments run since they're volunteer?
We run pretty good. We're, doing this many years. It's a wide cast of different professions that make up a different fire department. In our fire department, for example, we have a lot of law enforcement, a lot of professionals, the whole range of professions.
Okay.
And they all come together to fight fires. We're trained the same way, and it's effective.
But who pays for all this?
Well, it's a combination effect. So the district is a tax-raising body, like a school district, you might think. And that pays for the facility and the apparatus. The fire department is the unpaid volunteers within the district that actually have the manpower and the firefighting, arm of the fire service.
Okay.
And there's also a Benevolent Association that supports the firefighters within that fire department.
We're going to get into that because, the Benevolent Association is very, very important. And all these things help to fund the fire department working. Tell us a little bit about what the Benevolent Associations do.
So the Benevolent Associations are created in every one of the fire districts across the state. All 62 counties have all these different fire districts. Maybe, I think it's 1,700 plus fire districts out there. And so the benevolents are all created out there by a special act in the New York State Assembly to support medically disabled and indigent firefighters. And that's funded partially by the New York State foreign fire tax, which is 2% of premiums written against fire insurance from companies that are chartered outside of New York State. 3% for alien insurance companies which are chartered outside of America.
So very interesting. So they have to collect money from your taxes, benevolence, and they also do fundraisers to keep it going. And I got to tell you, every parade, everything in my town, it's the fire department that leads the parade, always there to help out. Again, these people are not paid, but they're all out there for you in the community. And, you know, I've been involved with the fire departments for about 20-some years, indirectly, in helping them with a program called LOSAPs. Can you tell me a little bit about what LOSAPs do?
So LOSAP, Length of Service Award Program.
Right.
It's sort of like an annuity that you pay for as a fire district to benefit the members. And at a certain age, they can collect a payment, typically a certain amount per year of service that you're in there. So it might be $20 a year for every year of service. When you hit, like, say, either age 62, 65, you'll get this monthly stipend.
So it's a retirement program based. It's not a real retirement program because they're volunteers, but it's based on someone's involvement and to help keep them involved as a little incentive to say, hey, we need you. And I've been working with districts across the country, across New York State mainly, in supplying annuities to support this program for many, many years. And it's a little known program people don't know about, but people should know about that and benevolence, because all these things help keep people engaged in the fire department and all necessary. Now tell me what the benevolent actually does.
So every benevolent, depending on where they are located, support their members.
Now you're vice president of the Benevolent Association, right?
For Nassau and Suffolk, we have a Long Island Benevolent Association that supports the benevolent associations and helps them, track their membership and also support them within the rules and boundaries of New York State's.
And how many districts does that affect?
For us in Nassau and Suffolk, it's about 200.
And then how many members are in the benevolent?
Between those two locations, it's maybe 2,000.
Okay.
Across the state, they say there's about 50,000 volunteers.
Okay. And that benevolent does what?
Well, when a member falls upon hard times, maybe they can't make their rent due to an injury or illness, or they're just out of work for a period of time, we try to help them make that rent payment so they can continue to fight fires and support their community. Also, if they're medically disabled, doesn't have to be from an injury, could be from an illness, and maybe they don't have health insurance, we help them, get treatment, pay for prescriptions, whatever it takes to keep them active and still supporting their fire department.
It's an awesome service, and people don't realize. People only see in their own box, in their own world, and don't realize until there's an emergency. And I've had one or two emergencies in the fire department right there, and appreciate the fact that these are volunteers in my community, maybe with other jobs, facing danger on a regular basis, and go kind of unappreciated and unseen for most people until there's a crisis.
Yeah.
So again, I can't thank you enough for your service and everything you do. And you do with the benevolence something over and above. We're going to talk about it after the break, but it's just amazing the amount of time and dedication you've said to that. And funding these benevolence with the right insurance and everything else is also helpful in it's either the money they raise in these benevolence from these insurance companies, and maybe they invest that money sometimes to help create that fund for these people. So I recommend you giving to your fire departments and understanding what that's all about. And without it, without the benevolent, without the LOSAP, without these things, a fireman can fall on really hard times. And this is a safeguard for them. And there's a way that this safeguard comes about and you're doing something extraordinary about it, and we want to get into that, and we're just getting ready for break. You're listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. Best way to get a hold of me is 631-647-4694. And Doug, if they want to speak to you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can call me at 631-335-2792, and you can also text that number. It's my fire department phone number. So
fantastic. No, and Doug is the commissioner of the Blue Point Fire Department.
105.
105.
105 people.
105.
Every district has 5 commissioners.
Oh, that's fantastic. And we'll be right back after this break, folks. Okay. Welcome back to the Main Street Code. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I'm here with my special guest, Doug Miller. And Doug is the commissioner of Blue Point Fire District, as well, one of the commissioners, one of 5 commissioners, as well as the vice president of the Benevolent Association for Nassau and Suffolk, as well as a IT professional for Islip Town. Unbelievable human being, and take volunteerism to a whole new level. Has been fighting fires for many years, been dedicated to his community, his family, you and me. There's people out there that protect us that you might never meet, and I was so glad to meet Doug. And you know, he told me he's a listener of the show, which was exciting to me. And we have to support one another. I mean, we're in a tough world right now, and supporting one another is so important. Doug has done something extraordinary, which is why when I'm on the show today, when we talked prior to the show, he talked about his involvement with the Benevolent Association. And part of that is this whole tax that we pay. And anytime anybody has homeowner insurance, there's a line on there that pays the fire districts, and that money is supposed to go to the state, and then the state filters it out. The way I understand it, Doug gave me this whole presentation, goes to the different districts. And Doug noticed over the years that the money was declining or level for a number of years. And the numbers just didn't make sense to him, and they don't make sense to me. So could you talk a little bit more about what that's all about?
Yeah, I'll start at the beginning. I'll try to make it brief, but I was treasurer of my local benevolent Blue Point for many years, and over those years, annually we get a payment from New York State for this 2% fire tax money. We use that to fund the benevolent.
Right.
In Blue Point, we're one of the lowest grossing fire districts. It's a small district. I noticed that over years, I would get basically the exact same number every year, within a few $100s. So that didn't seem to make sense. So I contacted the state.
Now, why doesn't that make sense?
Well, because it's based on your homeowners or your business fire insurance, and as property values increase, you would expect your insurance to increase, and in turn, the 2% revenue to increase every year.
That makes sense.
In our case, it would sometimes decline. And I called the state, and they would tell me, it's because people drop insurance, they get different insurance companies, and that might make sense. But this happens over the course of 15 years, and I noticed that there is really no increase. So do a little more research, and I look at the numbers again. I look at all the districts, and I contact New York State's Department of Financial Services, and they tell me, well, they use a street name system to allocate the revenue. So the insurance companies are collecting this 2% from everybody's policies. They're giving it to New York State annually. The state says that they use a street name system to allocate the revenue, so you should go as volunteers into your street name portal and make sure that all your streets are listed. Okay, I do that. And I noticed that it's missing about, in my case, it was about 20 streets. And I update the street listing portal, and we do it again. We wait another year, and the money is still flat. So I'm thinking there's a problem here. A couple of problems. Street names are not street addresses. You have border streets. Main Street might encompass 2 districts. Who gets the money?
Main Street encompasses every district in the country.
Well, within your zip code, let's say. It might encompass a few different districts. So that doesn't make sense. And there's many border streets. And so they couldn't explain that. Why they don't do it by street address, the way the insurance companies insure you, is by an address. They're not required to give that information to the state with this fire tax. They just give one number. They'll give whatever the number is, $100,000 to New York State, and then it's allocated to these different districts. They're supposed to give it with the district code. If you ever bought insurance or you're an insurance professional, when you go to buy fire insurance, they typically ask you for your tax bill, which clearly shows the fire district code on it. So there's no need for this antiquated street listing system that the state says is used for distribution. I find it a little bit wildly inappropriate that they would leave it up to volunteers to dictate the amount of revenue they get from a street name system that's 40% wrong.
Right.
And I know that because I was able to download all the streets in their system. At one point, they opened the system up, and I was able to get all of the streets in New York State.
Right.
I then used Open Data, GIS, to figure out all the various districts' street names and compare them to what the state had, and it was about 40% wrong. So if you believe that that is the system used for distribution, then it is inherently wrong right from the get-go, because it doesn't include all the streets.
Right.
So that was like a red flag. So
no, that's 2 red flags. I'm counting, maybe 3 so far.
So we keep drilling down over the years, and I keep working with the state. We're basically just asking the state to fix the system. It's an antiquated system. I know it's large. Dealing with big systems, it's always easier to deal with, some errors in the big system than to recreate the system. But in this case, it really begs to be recreated and fixed.
Right.
By the way, this foreign fire tax system was started over a century ago. Lincoln was in office when this was put in place, and our particular New York State foreign fire tax has never been audited since he was in office.
That's insane.
So we're also asking them to audit the collection of the insurance companies to make sure that they're actually not underreporting for the various districts.
Now, to a layperson, to me, I think about this. Because we talked about this at length, I'm saying to myself, well, you know what? This really sucks, because the people that I want to protect, the people that are protecting me in case I'm an emergent fire, need some kind of protection mechanism, and they're getting shortchanged through the system because I don't want to be blaming New York State, but New York State is not audited. And it seemed to me when you did some further investigation that not only are you not getting the proper share, but they're not getting the share from insurance companies. The way I see it, now I haven't dug as deep as you have, but with the limited numbers that you've discovered, there's something not right here.
That's how we feel. We're willing to work with them to correct the system going forward. That's really all we're asking for, is to make this thing correct going forward. Take the volunteers out of the distribution of revenue. We shouldn't be involved in updating streets. New York State gets everybody's listing of streets every year when they collect taxes, and the various districts send it up to the Office of Real Property. They have everybody's streets. So if we believe that they're using that for distribution, they really should update that system.
So how are the tax receivers engaged or involved?
It's sort of a separate issue from property tax collection.
Gotcha.
But I'm just saying that all the tax receivers around, well, actually all the entities have to give the state at some point a listing of all their streets within their GIS systems. The state has this already. They have the information.
Right.
So,
and the insurance companies have to be audited as to, are they giving the right amount?
We would just like it so that the insurance companies, when they tell the state how much money they've collected, we can audit them at some point, show the backup. Where are the collections coming from?
Right.
Addresses would be helpful.
So you've spent years drilling down. You're not further along, but you have found a lot of. See, this would drive me nuts because I like math. I like 2 + 2's got to equal 4, and it's not equaling 4 right now. It's maybe 1 3/4 or something like that. It's just not equaling 4.
We just can't get all the information because the state doesn't collect all that information from the insurance companies, and the insurance companies are not required to provide all the information to complete that math problem.
Well,
and so that's what we're trying to get to at this point.
I'm paying for it in my property tax. I'm paying for it in my car insurance with collision and whatnot. So I kind of want to know the numbers. I want to know where's my money going. And you've just really disturbed me, to be honest with you, because I don't know where my money's going. I want the fire departments to benefit. I want people to be taking care of me like you take care of them, right? So. Yeah. I got to applaud you for I mean, this is work. I mean, and I appreciate you putting up the fight. I mean,
Thank you.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Well,
So Support, listen, all I can say is we're running out of time, but support your fire districts, understand the issues, and be involved and help, because these people are helping you every day. If you're in an emergency, there's nobody else that's going to come, but these volunteer fire people and things are your support system, so we got to support our support system to support them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I hope so. Anyhow, you've been listening to Main Street Code for Financial Success. This is Neil Himmelstein. Best way to get a hold of me, 631-647-4694. Doug, what's the best way to reach you?
631-335-2792.
Fantastic. Thank you again for doing the show.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.